We're going to start this meeting at 7 p.m. Can we all please rise for the pledge of... Oh, I'm sorry. I want to introduce you first. I forgot they all don't know you yet. Mr. Steckel, please.
Mr. Pinnabone, thank you very much. Today, Nia Jenkins is here from Shawnee Elementary School. She's with her mother and father, came with her this evening. And Nia is an excellent fourth grade student at the school. She's in school newspaper, orchestra, chorus. She's involved in gymnastics as well as in cheerleading. And so at this time, would you all please rise so she can lead us in the pledge.
I pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. At this time, I'd like to ask for our annual moment of silence in remembrance of teachers, staff, students, and community members associated with the Easton Area School District. Thank you. John, do you have a roll for this? At this time, I'm going to turn the meeting over to our solicitor, Mr. Donald Spry, for the election of a temporary president.
Open nominations for election of a temporary president.
Temporary president.
I have a second to that nomination.
I'll second.
Any further nominations? Do I hear a motion to close nominations? Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All in favor of Mr. Fainall as temporary president, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Before Mr. Fainall takes over his duties, is there any public comment on the agenda items for the reorganization meeting, which is the election of the president and the election of the vice president? Any public comment on those issues?
Thank you. I'd like to open nominations, and if I may, I'm going to ask for a nomination for both the president and vice president.
I'd like to nominate Frank Pinnabone for president, and Henry for vice president.
Are there any other nominations? Hearing none, I'd like to have a motion to close the ballot.
Second.
A motion and a second. All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ballot has two names of Frank and Barron on it. Can I have a motion to approve the ballot as it was cast?
Second.
All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And can we have a motion to adjourn the meeting? So moved. Second. All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Before we start this meeting, I'd like to make the public aware that we have added addendum number 14, miscellaneous, and it will be on the podium for anybody who would like to grab one. Can you guys put that on the podium for me, please? We're going to go to superintendent's report.
Thank you, Mr. President. There are two important items I'd like to talk about this evening. They're very different from each other, but the first one is something that I know is very important for all of us, and that is a acknowledgement of the retirement of a long-standing employee and someone who has worked very diligently with our board here in Easton for the better part of 15 years, and that, of course, is Joan Schaefer. This happens to be her last meeting. So her eyes are watery, if you can't see from the back of the room. And, well, I don't know if they're tears of joy or whether they are tears of unhappiness, but they're tears nonetheless. But, Mr. President, if you would, I'd like to just offer some comments and observations here. Are you? Yes. Okay. So should I begin with my comments?
You can go first. Yeah, you go.
Okay, I'll go first. Joan began her journey with the Easton School District working in the Earned Income Tax Office, and that was back in the 70s. In 1988, she assumed a secretarial position at the March Elementary School, and she remained in that position until January of 1994. And she was then transferred to our administration office, where she became a cabinet-level secretary, a confidential secretary, and ultimately the administrative assistant to the superintendent and the board secretary. And those last few positions she's held for the past 15 years. So it's been quite a journey, and that background of experience has led her to being a valuable resource for information and knowledge on the entire school system. It's great that someone from the inside can reach that level of work and bring with her the kind of experience that she had throughout the school district. Her colleagues are very upset at her leaving, and while they wish her well, they also express deep concern about the fact that they're losing a good friend and a colleague. I can read to you some of the things that have set her work apart from everyone else. The professionalism she displayed in her duties as executive confidential board secretary were tremendous. She displayed a great sense of pride in the Easton School District and a very personable and friendly demeanor to everyone. And I think that those two comments really do focus on Joan's very wonderful sense of who she is and what we're doing and how we should serve the public. Another colleague said Joan has been the nicest person to work with. Her kindness and connection with people made her years in the district very successful. Another individual has worked with her for quite some time. She says she was the epitome of professionalism, is beyond proficient in all aspects of her job. She has worked closely with the superintendents who have been here, and along with Carol Lear. And Carol reminded her when I asked that they've worked for 6 superintendents in their time together in the school district, and they're trying to determine whether it was that was because of them. I don't think it was. I can attest that. It was not because of them, and I would say that coming here last year, for me personally, was made so much easier and so much better and so much friendlier in the sense, job friendly, if you will, because of Joan and, of course, because of Carol, the two of them who are assigned to work with the superintendent and the board. When you think about employees and you think about who we are and what we're trying to do, there's no question that Joan possesses all those characteristics of the kind of individual that leads an organization to higher heights of success. And among those, pride in place and pride in who she is, what she's doing, pride in this institution and her connections to the Easton School District, and as well as her desire to make sure everything is above board and beyond reproach. She's a great proofreader and finds all kinds of errors, and that is a skill that this superintendent has truly appreciated. But I can tell you that I, for one, will publicly thank you for your help and assistance in my return to Easton last year, and I really cannot thank you enough for all that you did. And I also know that I speak on behalf of the board to say thank you for the care that you have given over your time in this difficult role, and it's a demanding role as well. And you treated everyone the same and everyone with great respect. And in the business of the public, that's extremely important. So those are just some words that I wanted to offer tonight to acknowledge your last day here. Now, you'll be with us for a few more weeks, so but this is your last board meeting, and I know how upset you are. So thank you, Joan.
Thank you.
Mr. President?
Chairman, on behalf of the board, we're very upset to see you leave. You are truly the glue that holds everything together, and we really appreciate having the opportunity to be around you for most of us a short amount of time. Obviously, we have a little gift for you that we're going to go back and get, but I'm so used to you always bringing the gifts out that we hand to people. And I said, I want to go around and I want to find somebody in our district that really resembles Joan and have them bring the gift out. So I went through every building, every office, I looked in every classroom to find somebody who resembled you. And I found one of our staff members that resembled you, and she's going to bring out the gift with us. So we're going to go back and get it now. And in the entire district, she was the closest resemblance of you. So she'll bring the gift out with me.
I don't know what he's doing. Not quite sure. Not quite sure what that is. Not quite sure. Well, a minute. From the heart. Yes. Yes. I think we also have another special event here while we're on the topic. Joan's husband, Frank, is here, and this is his first board meeting in 15 years. So welcome. We always start a meeting off with some jolliness, and we have a cake. This is typical of our board meetings here tonight. I was trying to fool you, Frank. I was trying to fool you. Now, we hope that you're going to take good care of her and make sure that she keeps connected to us all. All right. Okay. And if things go for you like they went for me, you'll be looking for other work very soon. Because she'll be there to tell you what you need to do every day. And yes, that's right. We're ready. You're a lookalike.
Excuse me, sir?
Yes, you're right.
Do we look like? Thank you for everything.
Thanks for the laugh.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. I'd like to say something. I haven't talked for 15 years, so
Oh, there you go. You didn't have a chance to, I guess.
I did prepare something. I hope I can get through it. But how do you sum up 31 years in 30 seconds? Except to say thank you for the opportunity to build my career and many good friendships in the school district. Leaving is bittersweet, but I am looking forward to spending more time with my family and watching the meetings from the Ustream at home. And I feel confident that the board is in good hands with my replacement, Mrs. Ramirez. She's a wonderful person. I'm so glad to have gotten to know her for the past couple weeks, and I think you will be in very good hands.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Everyone.
Just for the record, I want everybody to know Joe lives around the corner from me, so I gotta fight very hard to not get in the car and say, Joe, can you help us out?
That's true.
I promise I won't.
That's
show up
true.
with the Palmer Trophy. And I won't have a whip on you.
There you go. in honor of the occasion, we do have cake, and we would like to offer it to anyone who would, well, not the cake, a piece of the cake there, to offer a piece of cake to all of you who are here tonight. So maybe we could ask some of our folks to help distribute the cake while we go about our business. How would that be? Okay? Thank you. All right. The second part of the superintendent's report is something that's been available to you on our website, and it's a report called Justice for All. And this was released a week ago Friday. And it's about the wealth disparity in the Lehigh Valley. And I was fortunate enough to receive an invitation to go to the meeting where the initial survey results of this report were disclosed. Our congressmen were present, a number of our legislators, and a good number of our business leaders in the Lehigh Valley were also present. This report is available for the public as well, so if anybody's interested in a copy of this, you're welcome to download it, I believe, off our website. We can do that. It's called Justice for All, and I would just like to share with you some of the important aspects of this as they apply to education here in the Lehigh Valley. Could we, Ann, could we have the page 7 on that report? This was called the Water Fountain Project, and it was called the Water Fountain Project for an obvious reason. The water fountain they're referring to is harkens back to the image of a water fountain with a sign whites only in front of it or on top of it that was frequently found in the South. And they believe strongly that this was symbolic and should remain symbolic of the information that is contained within this report. The Lehigh Valley Research Consortium, which is an affiliate of the Lehigh Valley Association of Independent Colleges, conducted the research, and they wanted to look at wealth by race across trends in income and education. And here are some of the results, and you're at the right spot there. In the Lehigh Valley, the data shows that the lowest achievement levels exist in schools located within areas whose population have the highest concentration of residents of color. The percentage of students who take the SAT, the Scholastic Aptitude Test, a key indicator for admission to institutions of higher education, varies by race and ethnicity. There are other conclusions that you see bulleted there, but those two in particular are two that I believe should be mentioned at our meeting, and discussion should take place around those because they are education focused. The data shows that race matters in the Lehigh Valley. The impact of race on educational achievement and the accumulation of assets cannot be denied. And that's a conclusion after seeing these charts and gaining all of this data. At the bottom of that page, you see education. I just want, again, to draw some important conclusions to your attention because they tie in significantly with the conversations that we've been having as a board here in our community. Every child from a low-income family, especially in urban communities, should have access to quality pre-kindergarten education. Now, that's the first conclusion and the first recommendation. I don't know if that's a priority, but my suspicion is it is. It's first on their list, and I think you would all agree with me that that we've talked about in the past that is and should be a priority for every preschooler in this country, not just those from our poorer communities, but for all children. Quality, affordable preschool education. On the next page, Congress, at the very top, Congress should declare that equal access to educational opportunity through the nation's public schools is the law of the land. Now, that has particular significance when you examine the fact that in our state, we do not have a formula for public education that is equitable and fair. And ultimately, what that means, and I think you would all agree with me, is that the current way that we fund public education in Pennsylvania is probably one of the most obvious forms of discrimination in our government system. There needs to be a fair funding formula for public education. And until that happens, and until our lawmakers have the courage to create that, we're going to continue to see unequal opportunities for education in our state. School districts should commit to providing the training resources needed to equip their existing faculty and staff with the competency that is required to successfully educate Black and Latino students. We've talked about that with our diversity committee, and I believe that that is going to be one of the priorities that will come out of our eventual plan of action. And that's to try to become better able to handle the needs and the issues that a diverse student population brings to school. Also of interest is this one, which we've talked about again here at the board level and also in our diversity committee. A network of volunteers should be recruited and trained to coach high school students on how to find the right college and to prepare them for the experience of college. Extremely important, and extremely important when you consider that, I believe it's in this report, that only 4% of our students of color take the SATs. And that's a valley-wide, I believe a valley-wide statistic. That is absolutely unbelievable in the negativity that message sends to all of us. We should have far more students accessing that opportunity and having guidance and opportunities to look for post-secondary employment or post-secondary educational opportunities. This report, I think, is something that everyone who lives here in the Lehigh Valley should read and consider. And the individuals who presented this did so in an effort to try to raise everyone's awareness of the inequities that do exist in our communities. For the board's purpose in looking at these charts, I hope that you will look and see that there are 8th graders. They compared 8th graders with each other from about half a dozen different school districts in the Lehigh Valley, and compared their advanced to proficiency levels in reading as well as math. And there's some very interesting conclusions that you can draw from this. So I wanted to make it available to you. I just wanted to highlight some of those conclusions because I think they're very important for all of us. And again, I hope that all of you know that there is an initiative across the Commonwealth at this time, an initiative to create a fair funding formula for our public education in the Commonwealth. And so I hope that something comes from that finally, and that we can move forward in creating something that will help us address the inequities and the lack of opportunities that seem to be coming from these charts and this information. That's all I have. Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. Superintendent. Reports. CIU 20, Ms. Price.
Nothing to report right now. We're going to be
Thank you. Canary Public Library.
same thing.
Holiday season. CIT, Mr. Oldby, Snyder or Vandenberg.
Next meeting, next Thursday.
Thank you. Northampton Community College, Mr. Fainall.
Next meeting on Thursday.
The Foundations for Eastern Schools, Mr. Buscemi.
The foundation sent out save the date notices for our gala. It's going to be held on April 11th. We're hoping that all the board members will come, and the public. Also, there's going to be a Carrabba's Cares night where 15% of the bill will go to the foundation. That's going to be every Tuesday in January. If you go there, just mention that you're supporting the Foundation for Eastern Schools, and 15% of your bill will be donated to the foundation. That's all I have.
Thank you. Charles Schrenz, Science and Technology Initiative, Vandenberg.
Next meeting, TBD.
Thank you. Ms. Ellison is not here today for legislative. Mr. Cuck.
Yes, Exec Board President Morgan Weiss.
So overall, Thanksgiving week went very well besides the loss. Prior to the month, Student Council met with the Peaburg Student Council to make sure all the times were set for the game and that the court was planned. We had practice before the week, and starting the Thanksgiving week off, we had the Powder Puff game that we organized, and despite that loss, everything went very well and everyone had fun. On the day of the pep rally, we donated $1,000 from our homecoming profits to the Hurd family. And this Saturday, December 6th, we'll be helping Miracle League with their Santa Claus breakfast at the Applebee's in Bethlehem. Tickets are available at the door, and it's $8. 12 and under are $4, and then 2 and under is free. And we'll be holding a holiday clothing drive from December 8th to the 19th, and all the donations will go to the Salvation Army. And our next meeting will be December 10th, that Wednesday. Thank you.
PTA, Dr. Gilliam.
Nope.
That's right. As you can see, I'm not Dr. Gilligan. My name is Michelle Robertson. I'm president over at Tracy Elementary School. She is running late, so she asked me to give the report. I do not have my glasses on, so please forgive me. It's on my phone. Just a couple things from the high school. A couple things already touched on. They recently donated $1,100 to the library to purchase books. They had a wonderful week leading up to the Peaburg game. Many events were attended by PTA members. They would like to thank Mr. Koch, Mr. Gonzalez, and countless staff members for all their time and effort. They also operated an annual concession stand at the bonfire. Post-prom planning has started, so stay tuned. On the Tracy side, our annual holiday bazaar will be held next week. We just wanted to highlight this because we still make all those little homemade crafts from the kids and the students and the grandparents and everything, so it's always a lot of fun. The winter choral concert is coming up and will feature the 3rd and 4th grade students with several very entertaining teachers and staff. Mr. Steckel used to be a big part of that as well. And finally, for January, we are planning a family fun movie night in cooperation with AAA. All students and families are invited to come out, enjoy a Disney movie, and refreshments will be compliments of the PTA. And finally, from Paxenosa's side, they were able to harvest food from their gardens and are happy to have them and the help of the community partners, volunteers, staff, etc. Lafayette students and Kedlin Foundation helped there as well. They got tomatoes, carrots, lots of potatoes, kale, and more. The pond and the garden areas are shaping up to be a great place for studying life sciences, so that's good. The Easton Marching Band. Hi, this is Dr. Gilligan. The Easton Marching Band played for their annual Halloween parade around the stadium, and it was a great time of marching and positive school spirit. Families enjoyed a successful book fair, and the students are looking forward to shopping for families at their holiday bazaar. And finally, it's reported that Santa will be stopping for an early visit to greet all 750 students. He plans to stop by December 19th for the entire day. That's what's happening with the PTA. Thank you for letting me address the board. Oh, yeah. Yep.
And this is the one thing I couldn't send through email, and that is that at our last council meeting, we all sent a card for Joan to wish you well in your retirement. So if I could bring this up here.
Very nice, very nice.
Ms. Miles,
Good evening. First, we'd like to congratulate Mr. Pintabone and Mr. Vanderberg, and especially Joan. You're going to love retire. I have not yet met a teacher who retired who didn't say it was the best thing they've ever done, and I'm looking forward to it soon enough. Our rep council meeting is not till next week, so in the spirit of the holidays, I won't bring up subs. But I will let you know that I promised rep council I'd bring it up every meeting. We are purchasing 3 Christmas trees from Easton Baseball to be donated to needy families in Easton. So happy holidays to everybody. Thank you.
Thank you.
I don't see, is there anyone here from bus drivers? I don't see Ms. Jones. No, okay. EASD Diversity Committee, Mr. Reinhardt.
Yes, we're going to meet next Wednesday evening, the 10th, and looking forward to the meeting. And we've got a number of consultants coming and talking with us, so it should be an interesting meeting.
Thank you, Mr. Reinhardt. I'd like to, on behalf of the board, thank Mr. Cup and all the staff in the last week of events with the bonfire and the game. We had a safe event, a safe Thanksgiving Day meeting, and thank you to all the staff who participated in that. I also would like to thank Mr. Simonetta and Mr. Reinhardt. You've taken notice this year, was the first year we had fireworks at the bonfire. And I don't know what made those two come up with starting to do that, but they came up with the idea, raised money for it, and had fireworks over the bonfire for the pepper rally on Saturday night. So we want to thank you for that as well.
You're welcome.
We had no standing committee. Are held in December. Is there anyone from the public who would like to be heard on comment? Is there anyone from the public who would like to be heard on public agenda items only? I don't know what happened.
Anybody?
I'm not sure if this is covered on the agenda, and I'll sign it in a minute. At the last meeting, we were given the report and the results of the report, and I just found out that that report is indeed online on the Easton area school district website. My question is, I know there was going to be a committee set up to start talking.
Because it's not on the agenda, I just have to ask if you can wait till the next
No problem.
couple numbers down.
Okay, thanks.
Is there anybody who would like to be heard on agenda items only? All right, hearing none. I'd like to ask for a motion to approve minutes of November 18th. Move. A second? Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Could I have a motion to accept the executive session report from November 18th? Motion. Second. Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Number 10, I would like to take personnel, starting with letter A, all the way down and including letter P. Can I have a motion?
I'll do a motion for all those with regrets on letter C.
Thank you. Can I have a second? Discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Can I have a motion to accept number 11A, academics, number 12A and B under policy, and 13A?
Motion.
Can I have a second? Discussion?
I got a question on number 11 in the school calendar.
Yes.
The days leading up to Thanksgiving, looks like there are 6 after.
5 of those half-days are parent-teacher conferences, and then the other half-day is the day prior to Thanksgiving.
Is it more beneficial to kids if they do 3 full days and we have 1.5 days of parent-teacher conferences instead of doing 5 half-days?
We have to review the contractual obligations for the various union groups. I'd have to take a look at that. We'll discuss that.
There's been concern raised to me about how much your kids actually learn during those half-days because they are so short, right? So then my question is, if they had 3 full days and then only 1.5 days of, half day or time off even for the winter break.
We have to take a look at the schedule, the number of conferences that would have to be held in a day. We can take a look and break those down.
Sure. Okay.
What we can do, speaking to our solicitor, if the board wants, I don't know how the vote will be, if it can pass as is, and then once we hear more, we can bring an addendum down the road to change that. Is there any other discussion on this? Seeing none?
I got one more. Can I be enlightened as to the Monday after Thanksgiving being a day that they have off?
Mr. Monahan, that's also the issue there, that Monday, for a number of our union groups, it's a contractual issue, and that's a paid holiday. That's one.
Okay.
Any other questions regarding calendar? We have a motion and a second. All those in favor? Opposed? Miscellaneous, letter A. Can I have a motion? Second? Discussion?
Frank, real quick, just so my note was on 11.
Hearing none. All those in favor? Opposed? Number 14B, I'm asking for a motion to accept the resignation of Ms. Carrie Leonard Elvison per her letter effective December 3rd, 2014. Motion. Second, Mr. Vanderberg. All those in favor? Opposed? To follow up there, can I accept a motion, can I have a motion to appoint someone to the legislative committee? So we will appoint Mr. Snyder to the legislative committee.
It was Bob and Brian for policy. Yeah.
Okay, sorry about that. So, Mr. Fainall will now be legislative committee, and we will now appoint Mr. Snyder to the Shrin Foundation Committee. Yeah, Shrin and...
No, Mr. Monahan is after
You're going to Shrin?
Yeah.
And you're going to policy? Mr. Monahan, we'll go to Shrin. Mr. Snyder will do policy. What's on third? Who is on first? I will also like to make a motion for the authorization to advertise the opening of Ms. Ellison's position. Have advertised beginning tomorrow. We have 30 days to fill. Can I have a motion? Motion. Second? Discussion?
Just a question on that. You said something about with the holidays coming up, will we be able to get a lot about rules? Who determines that? We have to go over the
Well, our solicitors will work out for that. If worst case scenario, we can't wait until our January 13th meeting, we'll have to call a special meeting for that purpose.
just call a special meeting. Okay, that's fine.
All right? Any other questions? All those in favor? Opposed? At this time, we would like to hear public comment from anyone on non-agenda items only.
Okay. I have my agenda back.
As I started to state before, I apologize that I was in the wrong sequence there. At the last meeting, we did hear the report, the Pell results, et cetera, in the building utilization study. There's supposed to be, I just want to find out what's happening with that, what's the plan, if there's a plan now, and if a committee has been set up.
There has not been one as of yet.
Okay.
Holiday things. Talking to Mr. Reinhardt after the new year, right after the new year, everybody's back.
Okay.
We begin to put that together.
If I can make a request, just because there were several schools named, that special consideration is put out to the folks at that school, just so that we're aware of it and all of that. So,
We'll
all
make
right.
sure that the public is fully aware
Okay.
well in advance, so everybody can make arrangements to be at that meeting.
Okay.
We'll probably move it to a bigger location like the high school auditorium or something.
Okay. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else from the public who would like to be heard on non-agenda items only? Seeing none. Any other business from board members? This time, I will accept the motion to adjourn. Second? All those in favor? Opposed?